This video will show you the first steps in the ACA processing experience. So I've logged into the Scissortail system as Kathy Watts, the Director of Payroll and HR for the demonstration system. And so the first thing that Kathy's going to do on here is she's going to go to the hamburger, and then she's going to go to the benefits section and click on ACA and just review the employee ACA actions. Now, depending on the way that your report or your review shows up here, would help and determine the easiest way for you to process this. So the things that we're looking for on this screen, Kathy needs the ACA profile to review and make sure that everyone has the correct ACA profile on them. And she also needs to make sure that the correct benefit profile has been added to these employees. So one of the ways that I know whether or not these employees have what they need is by adding a column that, and I'm just going to look for type, and we want to find pay type and employee type, and let's add those. And here we can see then at a glance if the employee is full-time or part-time. We have an employee here, oops, let's roll back, an employee that's indicated as a part-time employee, so most likely they would not qualify for either of these profiles unless at some time during the year they actually were a full-time employee and did qualify. So it's ACA season, and anyone who qualified throughout the year should have both profiles on their employee record. The next step that we would do as Kathy is come back out here and just go on to the ACA year-end processing. As you can see, this is where you populate your forms for all of the different years. So there's a tax year entry that's been started for 2021. If you need to add a tax year entry, you go to add year entry and you pick the year that you need to add it for. And then you select the year and say add. Kathy's already added 2021, so we're going to click on the pencil to begin the process. If you have payroll, you're going to recognize that this is a very similar checklist to the payroll processing checklist. The first thing you need to do is you need to view your employee ACA forms. So we're going to click on that, and it pulls up all of the employees. If you need to add employees or make sure that all of the employees have been added for the year, the first thing that I do is I click the Select All, and I say Mass Add New for the selected year, and say OK. It will add any and skip any. It'll skip the ones that it's already added the form for, and it'll add additional forms if needed. Remain selected, or keep all of your rows selected, and then say that you want to populate the forms. This will do the initial population for you so that you're able to review them. Now that we've populated the forms, you can see the last modified date would be out here. We're just going to select all again and view selected. This is where you can go in and begin reviewing each of your forms. As you review the forms, if they look good to you, you can go ahead and finalize that form. If you need to see the additional covered individuals, it would be down here. If for some reason you need to unfinalize the form, you do have a button to do that as well. Once you're satisfied, move on to the next form using the forward or the back buttons. You can see here this form has not been finalized because you can still fill in the information on this form. We're going to finalize and move on. Once all the forms have been finalized, and I can essentially do that here, I would encourage you to review each one before finalizing it. But you can see here that everything has been finalized in this column here. Then you would click the back arrow, mark that step as complete. The next step is to finalize forms, but we've completed that above, and it actually tells us that all forms have been finalized. So we'll mark that complete as well. Then it wants you to repopulate your 1094C. So this is essentially the cover form. So we have the selected year shows 2021, but there's no form available. So Kathy would click the Add New button, and then she would click the Populate button. She would say, yes, this is the authoritative transmittal. If there was an aggregate group, she would check this box. If she qualified for this particular method, she would say yes. And a minimum essential coverage was offered all 12 months of the year, and okay. Once it finishes going through its calculations, it fills all that information in that we just completed. You have a few areas that are remaining that you will need to fill out. So right here, Kathy's title, would need to be added, and what was our qualifying offer method. Just review the information and then finalize your form. We'll go back to our list. We'll show that we have completed that. We have also finalized it. And now we're ready to deliver forms. So we will print the forms simply by select all. Go to your print settings. You're going to print it on letter paper, most likely. You want to have the employee name on a separate page. Mask the socials. These are for the employees only would we mask the socials, not if we are printing forms to send to the government. And I do not select this final box and say apply. Then, once you've done your print selections, you'll download the PDF, and all of your forms will be in that one PDF. Now that that is complete, Kathy's going to go back to her list again, mark the forms complete. She doesn't do the error files or the error submission. She's going to actually come back in to print the forms, and she's going to print again, this time changing her her print settings for the government forms. These are the ones that you're going to mail in to the government for companies with less than 250 employees. Uncheck the mask and apply. Then you download the PDF again, and this time you have your forms for submitting to the government. And that's all there is to it.